Hello, friends. This is Parag here, your host on Stay Strong podcast. I promise you to bring the best information in the field of kettlebell sport and strength and conditioning. Today, we have a very special guest who is 7 times Master of Sports World Class, 5 times Master of Sports. She's featured in Shape, Prevention, Women's Health, and twice in New York Times. Can't wait to welcome Lorna Kleidman from Connecticut, US. We have a very special guest, a very good friend of mine, Lorna from Connecticut, and we are going to have an interaction with her on her journey on kettlebell sport. And it's quite exciting for me to share her journey because Lorna started her kettlebell sporting career later in her age, and she has picked up very well. She is 7 times world champion, and I'm going to cover a lot of details. We are going to cover a lot of details in this podcast. I'm quite excited. Welcome, Lorna.
Hi, Parag. Thank you for having me. Yeah, 5-time world champion.
5-time world champion.
Not 7 yet. 7 we'll get to. 5 times.
2 more, you'll make it happen.
2 more soon.
2 more soon.
That's okay.
Yes. Great.
Nice to see you. And
yes. Great.
It's been a while since I've seen since Italy, WKSF back in 2018, I believe. Yeah. Yes. So nice to see you.
Yes.
And congratulations on all of your competitions and your wins and your progress. It's nice to see.
Thank you very much, Lorna.
Yeah.
Great. So I would like to know a little background about yourself, like your professional background, your fitness background. Maybe if you can get started with that.
My fitness started in earnest in my late 20s. I wasn't really doing much physically before that. I was taking some dance classes.
Okay.
And but I grew up with very, very bad asthma. I couldn't breathe when I would exercise. Even just walking briskly in the wintertime, I would get to a point where I couldn't breathe and I'd have to stop. So dancing was good for me because you dance a little bit, then you pause, the instructor gives you more choreography, then you dance and then you pause. So it was more like interval movements, which was okay for me.
Okay.
Once I started to join a gym and I started to take the classes, it was very, very hard. It took me years to organically overcome asthma. So I started, I'd say, in my very late 20s.
Okay.
And then in lifting and harder classes, boxing, I started jogging for the first time. And then at the age of about 41, I started learning kettlebell fitness.
Okay.
And the person who was teaching me kettlebell fitness learned about kettlebell sport because it had just started. This was in about 2005 or 6.
Okay.
And kettlebell sport was just starting to come to the United States.
Okay.
And he told me about it and encouraged me to look into it. And because this person encouraged me, I hired my first coach and I started to train for my first competition. Yeah. Okay.
So when you started your first competition, like you were not aware of like when you're starting with long cycle or if you're starting with snatch, which lift did you started when you get started?
Well, back when I started, there was an organization called IGSF.
Okay.
This was before WKSF. There was IUKL and there was IGSF.
Okay.
The only lift that the women were doing back then, this was 2007 now when I competed, they were only doing snatch with 16 kg. They weren't yet doing even single arm long cycle or jerk.
Okay.
That came soon after, maybe a year later.
Okay.
But they in the United States, women started doing single arm jerk and long cycle. But in the international competitions, women were only doing snatch and nothing heavier than 16 kg. So that's where I started.
Okay.
And I've always been, I've always loved the snatch lift. That's my lift.
Okay.
That's my favorite lift. That's my preferred lift. And that's what I focus on.
Okay.
Because it's challenging enough to, keep going. And I like jerk, I like long cycle, but I love snatch. So that's
Okay.
what I've stuck with all of these years.
Okay, okay. Based on body types, Lorna, like ectomorph, mesomorph, at times we choose the lift based on the body type. Do you personally feel that if you are having maybe a shorter limb length, or maybe if you're having, if you're a little tall, you need to choose the lifts based on the body type? Or is it like, because there is an interaction with the coach you have, what personally is your view on this?
Right. I've never had a discussion with somebody about that, about height or limb
What?
length. I mean, there are many different. You have Johnny Benitze, who's
Shorter,
much
yeah.
smaller. You have someone like Anton
Okay.
or Ivan Denisov, and they do all the lifts, and those are taller men.
Yes.
The women too. There's some, but that's why we have the weight categories.
Yes.
You know, I don't think it has to do with your body type and the lift that's,
Okay. Okay.
better for your body. I think it depends on what you gravitate to and what you like, but it's beneficial to be able to do all the lifts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Now, as you are into this coaching business as well, you must be having clients at your age or maybe even older age who are doing kettlebells, or maybe who are not doing kettlebells. What challenges do you feel if you really want to train them with kettlebells? Like, what are the key challenges when a person above 45 or above 50, when they really want to get into kettlebell sport? What is the major challenge? Is it a mindset? Is it a coaching? Is it a like more of a talking you have to do with them to make them understand how important this can be for you? What is your personal views?
The challenges aren't that great in terms of the ability, because the thing about kettlebell sport and the beauty of it is its ability to allow. So if you think about what we're doing, we're standing in one place. So
Yes.
it's non-impact.
Okay.
And we're using our larger muscle groups, our legs, our glutes, our shoulders are stabilizing pretty much the weight, whether we're doing snatch or jerk. We're moving from the lower body, the stronger muscles, and we're stabilizing overhead.
Yes.
And we're using our trunk, whether it's snatch or jerk or long cycle, we're using our trunk muscles as stabilizers also.
Yes.
They move, well, in snatch we extend, and swing clean we extend, but it's a lot of stability through the trunk and a lot of stability through the shoulders. So it's actually advantageous to train with this sport as we get older, because it's working all three dimensions of the body.
Yes. Yes.
So in terms of ability, as long as you start with a light weight, an appropriate weight, and then progress logically, methodically,
yes,
and with good form, it doesn't matter whether you're 20 or whether you're 50 or 60, starting with the sport, it's open for everybody.
Okay.
I'd say one of the only challenges is that now that so much of the training is online, remote.
Yes.
And I don't do in-person training. So if I demonstrate it, I'm demonstrating online, which can be challenging. I can't touch the client. I can't adjust the bell for them. I have to show them. So I have to show them and give them the visual cues through the camera. That's more challenging than anything else. But in terms of age, I really don't think that there's much of a difference. I haven't experienced that. And mainly my work right now, I coach people with kettlebell sport with technique. I don't write programs anymore. So I'll work with people with technique, and mainly the largest picture of my practice is to train women 40 and over for conditioning, strength and conditioning, and their general fitness. Then if they want to get into kettlebell sport, I might introduce it to them, and if they really get into it, then I'll help them proceed.
Proceed, exactly. Okay.
Right.
Super, great. Now, as you know that we all have, every state, every country has a different food habits. What is your nutrition program? Like, are you vegan? Do you follow any particular
No.
nutrition plan? So if you can just brief a little bit, like what do you eat when you are really competing, and what do you really have your food or supplementation on and off the competition, like on off season and on season?
It's the same.
Okay, okay.
I wish
okay.
I could tell you that this is what I do off season, and this
Okay.
is what I do on season. No,
Okay.
it's the same.
Okay,
So I
okay.
eat meat. I
Okay,
get protein. I eat eggs. I eat a little bit of red meat when I crave it. I eat a lot of chicken, a lot of turkey, a
okay,
lot of vegetables, rice, potatoes. I try to stay away from processed foods. I don't eat cereal.
okay,
I don't eat, cookies and cakes. If I have a sweet tooth, I'll have a little ice cream. But I try to stay away from processed foods. I drink coffee.
okay,
And I found in the past year, I've actually switched to gluten-free.
okay, okay.
So I now there's gluten in sauces, there's gluten in different things that, condiments. So I'm not always so careful about that. But
Okay.
if I have bread now, it's gluten-free. If I have pasta now, it's gluten-free. And I find that it provides better recovery,
Okay.
better mental processing,
Yes.
not so much brain fog, which women can get, especially, later in life,
Yes.
and much less bloating and inflammation,
Okay.
which helps recovery and also helps you just feel good and look good. So I have found tremendous benefits by changing that one factor
Okay.
in my diet.
Okay.
But otherwise, I don't always eat breakfast. If I'm not
Okay.
hungry, I don't eat breakfast, and I can train
Okay.
kettlebell sport without breakfast. If I'm doing strength and conditioning,
Mhm.
if I'm going to the gym and I'm going to lift the barbell and I'm going to do, the rower and then run the stairs, or if it's a strength and conditioning day, I do eat because I need the fuel. But if
Okay.
I'm doing a kettlebell sport training,
Okay.
I don't necessarily eat breakfast. I can
Okay.
either have a little breakfast. If I'm not hungry, I don't.
Okay.
So I listen to my body. In terms of supplements, it's the basics. It's B12, D3, especially
Okay.
since we're indoors a lot more.
Yes.
Magnesium at night,
Okay.
glucosamine for the joints.
Yes.
What else? Fish oil. That's about it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So your typical training time is for 1 to 1.5 hours. How much time do you train, or like what is the frequency of the training as well?
It depends on the set. So
Okay.
you're talking about kettlebell sport.
Uh-huh.
Kettlebell sport, it's about three or 4 days a week.
Okay.
3 or 4 days a week, and then it's usually with the warm up and then the sets. It's usually about an hour. It could be
Okay.
a little bit more, maybe an hour and a quarter, but it's usually not much longer than that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you train all days, or you pick up 3 or maybe 4 times a week?
3 or 4 times a week, and then
Okay.
one day strength and conditioning
Okay. So you use
during the
weights?
week. What?
Do you use weights like squats, stairlifts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I do. Yes.
But that is on the other days, but not on the
Yes,
kettlebell
it's
sport.
another day.
Okay. Okay.
It's
So
typically not on a day that I lifted kettlebells. I need to be fresh for the strength and conditioning. That's
Okay.
a tough workout day.
yes.
And
Yes.
that's an hour.
Yes,
So
okay.
and that's when I'm gonna have breakfast for sure.
Okay.
So that's not gonna be on a kettlebell day. That's
Okay.
gonna be on another day.
Okay.
And then twice a week I'll do some more steady state cardio like jogging
Okay. Okay.
twice a week. So all in all, it's about 5 days
A week.
of something, and then 2 days off as needed.
Okay. Okay. Got
Right.
it. Okay. So you do more of volume training, or do you do more reps? Like, do you really do kind of a power workout, or does your workout has more repetitions? So for example, if you're doing squats, do you do like 15 to 20 repetition range squats, or do you do something like maybe 6 rep max training, something sort of like that?
I switched from low volume strength.
Uh-huh.
I used to do lower lower rep,
Lower
more
reps. Okay.
strength,
More weights.
say
Okay.
under 8 reps.
Okay. Okay.
Now I've switched more to more endurance
Okay.
weightlifting. So
Okay.
10 to 20 reps.
10 to 12.
And I find that it's better. It's better for me, especially for the sport, to be doing higher rep weightlifting.
Okay.
So you maintain the strength, but you're also getting the endurance element. So that's been a good change for me. I switched that up about 2-3 years ago, and that's been better.
Okay. Okay. Super.
Because you don't need maximal strength for the sport. You need endurance.
Yes, you need
stability and you need endurance. So it's right. So I do more of the higher rep schemes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Like in past 4 to 5 years of a good kettlebell lifting experience, have you got any negatives about kettlebell? Say, for example, any kind of injuries? Do you personally feel like, okay, I was doing this, but I've got some injury, like maybe a rotator cuff injury or maybe anything else? What is your experience? Maybe your experience, or maybe when you're training to your clients, if you feel that, okay, this particular part, or this is like, because I personally also know that there is a very less injuries in kettlebell sport. But what is your experience based on the training with the senior members or maybe senior athletes?
Here's the thing. If you warm up properly and you move properly and your technique is good, you're not going to get injured unless you have a weak link somewhere. I have never been injured now it's 13 years with kettlebell sport. I've not once had an injury from the sport. I've not had an injury at all. The key, and nor have my clients with, no, because here's the thing to remember. When you do your other lifting day, whether it's strength and conditioning or just working on weak points, it's important to work the areas that you may not be getting with kettlebell sport. So for example, if you tend to work with long cycle primarily, you have to think about the muscle groups that are not being worked. The muscle groups that are not being worked are the lateral hips, for example, right? The movements that help you move in the frontal plane, side to side. And you may not be getting as much. You're getting some abs, but it's important to work the abs. Core part. And for snatch, especially, you're not getting much anterior chain. It's a lot of posterior chain and extension. You're not getting a lot of abs. So when I train, I focus on lateral hips, even though you're getting that a little bit with snatch, but still, it's important to train the lateral hips. That keeps your back strong, it protects your knees. And then I do abs on my own, and then posterior shoulder, things like external rotation, things like that, to address the posterior shoulder. So if you can stay on top of the weak points, the chances of getting injured are either going to be because you're not using good technique, because you went too heavy, or because you overdid it with your volume, something like that. But like you said, the injury rate for kettlebell sport is very, very low.
Very low.
Yeah.
Great. You've been training with snatch for quite a while now, Lorna, right? I think 7+ years?
No, about 13.
13+ years, I would like to know that because there are many women in India who are switching to snatch from long cycle. So I would like to know from you that what is the key area in general physical preparedness, that's a GPP program, which you need to add while you do the snatch to make snatch better and update your snatch programs faster. Say, for example, if you're moving from 12 to 16, 16 to 20, 20 to 24, what is the key part which you have to take care of your body in order for you to not injure yourself and move up the ladder faster? Second point is, what is a minimum criteria of the repetitions you need to do with the smaller weight before you go to the higher weights?
All right, so the minimum number of repetitions, I would say, once you're able to get to 8 minutes, let's say 4 minutes each side, and you're able to do about 16 reps per minute with
Okay.
whatever starting weight you're using. You can start to implement the next heavier weight with intervals, interval sets, maybe 1 minute on, 1 minute off.
Okay.
So intervals, just starting to introduce the heavier weight,
Okay.
and starting to get stronger with the heavier weight, but while at the same time building on the volume with the lighter weight. So you're going to stay with the lighter weight. Let's say it's 12 kg. Okay.
Okay.
So our goal is to get to 4 minutes each side, about 16 reps per minute. Once you're able to do that and you're feeling comfortable with that, you can start introducing the 16 kg a little bit. And then you keep coming back to the 12 kg. All right, now let's build to 9 minutes and then to 10 minutes. And then, once you get your volume, you're going to pick up your pace a little bit. So you keep building on the original weight. And then as you introduce a little bit of intervals with the next heavy weight.
Okay.
So
Got it.
I would say
16 repetitions.
The first benchmark would be about 8 minutes, about 16 reps per minute. I would say, yeah. But each coach might have a different opinion on that.
Yes,
but I think that's a good average.
Okay.
In terms of what physical what GPP you need to start getting better at snatch. Snatch is a lot of spinal extension.
Yes.
And it's a lot of hip work, which you're going to get in long cycle. So if somebody's coming from long cycle, you're getting some of that already.
Okay.
It's just that the snatch is going to be a much bigger pendulum. I mean, you have to bring that bell, instead of bringing it to the rack, which is a very short movement, you have to bring it way, way up.
Yes.
So you have to do a lot of body weight transfer.
Yes.
And I think the most challenging part isn't physical. It's more the technique.
Yes.
It's more learning the technique.
Yes. So brushing up more technique with the lighter weights, or with the competitive weight. What do you feel? Like it's more of a lighter weight. Say, for example, if your competition weight is 16 kilo, but you're brushing more with 12 kilos.
You can do both. I mean, there are some people who will do their main lift, maybe with the competition weight. Let's say it's 16 kg. After they train and do their set with the 16 kg, they might do a 10-minute set with the 12 kg as a supplementary exercise. Okay. Just really focus on technique with a lighter weight.
Okay, got it.
Just focusing on technique. Some coaches like to do that. It just depends on how your coach approaches it.
Yes. Okay.
But it's really about the technique.
Yes. Yeah, we are talking on coach, and it's a very important part because many athletes, like sometimes at times when they are well versed with the lift, they understand that they can train by themselves. What is your take of having a coach if you are into a competitive lifting? Is coach important?
Yes, I've always had a coach. I tried to program for myself, and that lasted maybe 2 weeks. Okay. Because I don't want to have to think about that. I mean, if you're really serious about the sport and you really want to get better, I think it's really important to have an experienced coach that you're accountable to, and that who's going to write your programs for you to follow. Yes. I think for me, I can't imagine writing my own programs. I wouldn't want to even be burdened with that.
Yes. You cannot really see yourself when you're in frame. That is the important part. I mean, if someone is watching you when you're lifting, especially when there is a coach, then it really makes a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you're just playing and you're just doing it recreationally, then you can find programs online maybe, or examples of programs online, and you can take it from there. You can find a template and then just be creative with it. But if you're really training to compete, yeah, if you really want to make progress and you really want to get on the platform, a coach is invaluable. I think it's worth the investment, and I would always recommend it to people.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, we would like to know your best records in kettlebell sporting career, especially some of those done in the US and some of those done at the world level. And if you have played marathon, maybe just few numbers on marathon if you have done.
Oh yeah, I did a marathon I did an extreme marathon, 2 hours with 12 kg. And that was, I didn't train, I think I trained, maximal training I did was 1 hour for that.
Okay.
The event was 2 hours. It was pretty brutal. It was tough. It was really, really tough. It was like running a marathon literally running a marathon without training, a lot for it. I did like 2,200 something. I don't remember the numbers, but it was about an 18 rep pace for the 2 hours. So that was a national record.
Interesting.
But I haven't gone to IKMF in person. I haven't been to. That was like an online event.
Okay.
And then let's see, a year and a half ago, I got 169 with the 24 kg traditional 10-minute.
Okay.
That was an absolute new national record. And then after that, a few months ago, I made 20 kg 207, which is also a new national record.
Super.
So those were done when the competitions were online, and now we're going to go back to in-person competitions. And
your best number with 24s, Lorna?
169.
169. Wow, interesting. Wow.
Trying to break through that now.
Yes, 100%. Close to 200.
It's tough.
Yes,
it's close, but it's very, very far. It's very far from 200, but
you'll get one day for sure. Great.
First we have to get to 180.
180. Yeah, that's the first milestone. Yes.
And it's small, very small increments when you get.
Yes.
When you get higher, then it's very small jumps.
Yes, that's the beauty of the kettlebell sport is more than the growth, it is the maintenance.
Exactly. Exactly right. Yeah, that's right.
Great. Actually, we would here in India in women kettlebell sport lifters, I would be really glad if you pass on a very good message to them and some inspirational message from your side based on your experience. And they should get inspired on that. What do you feel? Yeah.
The main thing, there are going to be days when you don't want to do. There are going to be days when you feel like you're not making progress.
Okay.
There are going to be days when you want to put it off. But here's the thing. We just went through a pandemic.
Yes.
Life is very, life can shift in a moment.
Yes.
But fitness and sport will always be here for us. Always.
Yes.
So get your weights, bring them home, buy some weights. You always have the ability to move and to feel good. You're always going to feel good afterward. And it's, in terms of making it fun and not so much burden, I think it's important to always come to the training with a sense of curiosity. What can I do today? Let me discover. No pressure. No, not always trying to make a personal best. Let me just discover what I'm capable of today. And if you come to the training with that sense of curiosity, then it becomes fun and it becomes more meaningful.
Super, Lorna. Great. That's a great advice and a great message. Even a good message for men lifters out here. Interesting thought, because I've been interviewing many athletes across the world in person as well as over the Zoom, and everyone have a different perspective. And what happens is when you have the different perspective, you are really on a way to really do something really great with the sport, because people will not think about it like a beating someone's record and just going. You just have to be yourself. It is always you versus you. Will be always
That's
beating
right.
your number.
That's right. It's always you versus you. You know that.
Yes.
So we're always trying to get better each time. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
But the great thing about sport is that, and the thing that keeps many people in it is, there's always a reason. So for example, if you couldn't fulfill your set in training because you got out of breath or your heart rate was too high, you couldn't handle it. Okay, well, maybe you need to work on your conditioning.
Yes.
Or if your grip gave out, well, maybe you're holding the belt you're not relaxing your grip enough in the right places. So there's always a reason. So that it's good to be able to assess, what happened in the set and what needs to be fixed or what needs to be paid attention to.
Yeah.
So there's always a reason. Maybe you failed early because you were distracted about something that's going on in your life and you weren't focused. But there's always a reason.
Yes.
So it's also a process of figuring out, when things don't go the way it was planned.
Yes.
Okay, what happened? And then this helps you even on the platform. I've failed many times, and most of the time it's because I don't feel confident yet. I'm not ready to achieve what I wanted to achieve. I'm not ready.
Okay.
And then my head gets in the way, and I'm like, I really don't want to do this. That has happened, or I'm distracted by something and my mind takes over, and that's not good. So you have to be able to look back, whether it's in training or whether you're competing, and say, okay, what went wrong, what went right, and how can I take this forward?
Yes.
So there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. It's a whole big process.
Yes. And that's why we are on the podcast.
That's
to help
why we're
people.
Talking about it.
Yes,
that's right. It's not just moving weights. It's technique, it's cardio, it's flexibility, it's the mental state, it's knowing how to recover. There's a lot to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure this valuable information will help a lot of lifters here out in India and as well other countries as well, because this is going to go on the YouTube. And I'm so very much thankful for you to spend some time with me, Lorna.
My pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for your time, and I really look forward to meet you soon in one of the competitions.
I look forward to seeing you too, and continued success.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sure I'll see you very soon.
Yes, thank you very much, Lorna. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.